we should be live. All right. Hi, everyone.
Say hi to the internet, Cooper.
Fuck you, jerks.
That's his standard mode of operations.
I feast for the flesh of the living. Look upon me in despair.
Oh, Cooper, no. No. Just relax. Just for a little bit here, buddy. Alright, get your eye boogers out and leave me alone. Leave me!
Ignore me!
Ignore me!
Check.
Hold on, I've got a clip when I do that.
Check. Okay.
I am so annoyed that my friend beat me to that clip for notification.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Ignore me!
So, I went with my...
Go ahead.
I went with my dad and my little brother to take him back to college. It's about a 4-hour drive from where we live. And we're sitting in, we went and got lunch at just an Applebee's, and we're sitting there, and mid-conversation, my dad's phone goes off, and his text message tone is the entirety of the X-Files theme song.
You monster.
Just out of nowhere. We're like, what? Huh? Where's Scully? I'm sorry, Mulder, where are you?
Oh, man. All right, you guys ready to kick this thing?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and going around the room, we have Knobs.
What's up?
And we have the Hannah.
Hey.
It has been like a week and a half since we've done this thing. So,
Has it been that long?
it's been a while, yeah. So
I may have played more games than this.
A little bit.
Well, I've got you covered because that's all my wife and I did on our honeymoon was play stuff. Yay!
Hey, all right.
Thank you to whoever got us sick. You jerk. All right, let's kick this thing off with Knobs. What have you been playing?
Alrighty, well, the bookend game happened a couple times, so that happens, and we're talking Battlefield 4 here. Playing the new snow maps, and now we're like back to not knowing what the hell we're doing again.
Nice.
But the hover tank is kind of intense because there's no reason for a tank to be that mobile, ever. But yeah, it's just trying to find, and the Manapult's really fun.
Well, yeah, it's a Manapult.
Even though every time I've used it, I've shot myself off the map with it. But
there's a certain learning curve to it.
you know what? I don't know how to use it. I think you just aim it at where you want to go on the ground and not try and arc it over to where you think you're going to land, because I've overshot my destination every time. I
would have sort of figured it would be like throwing a grenade.
Well, no, because I'm running up, and I was playing a sniper the first couple of times this map, and it's on a big mountain and a valley and a glacier, yeah. So all the points you're holding are like in this valley, and there's two way up top. They're like impossible to get into. So all of a sudden, I just see these people just kind of like these gamer tags just floating across the screen. I'm like, what is there beacons everywhere? What's happening? And then I finally got
space.
So I finally fought my way up to this thing, and I got up there. I'm like, what is this? This looks like a giant cannon. So you get into it, and you climb into it, and it brings up this display, and it just got this weird, like, dick, launch. And then all of a sudden you're like, poof, you're in, like, this missile, like
this escape pod?
Well, yeah, escape pod is a good, I was going to use fuselage, but...
Well, I mean, if you want to be fancy about it.
But it was crazy, and I'm saying, like, oh, that's where I want to... Wait a minute. Wait, why am I... Oh, no.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah. But, yeah, so it's kind of cool. I need to find out how to unlock that Gauss rifle, though, because I've been killed by it a lot. Oh, I mean, that thing is like, bing, and you're done. It seems fun. I want to shoot it. I want to see what it's about. But yeah, so I played that probably 3 or 4 times over the course of the last week and a half here. I played some more Power Star Golf. Just kind of getting that one out of the way.
Nice.
And I played some actually legit board games. I think it was Friday night.
Like physical ones?
Physical board games,
okay.
Yeah. We played one of those Kickstarter games called Day Trader.
Okay, that sounds fun.
It was surprisingly quick for like a Monopoly style game. So I mean, the purpose of the game is to earn $3 million, buy a retirement card, and cash in all your stocks and retire. That's how you win. But
that's the general idea of life. Yeah,
That's pretty accurate.
And hitting hit with 600,000 in taxes just sucked. That happened to me a lot because I was always rolling fat in cash in that game.
But the man is keeping you down.
But yeah, so that was a really cool game because you have it's set up, where you have like a bank space, boom or bust, hire or fire, and each industry has these little tokens, and then as you can choose either to buy stock in the company or work at the company, and it's got like this 4-step things: employee, supervisor, VP, CEO, and each one has a different rate. And on that rate box, like, depending on how many people work there, is how much your stock's worth. So you want to buy stock when no one's working there or one person, and then sell it when everyone's working there because you're like doubling up your money on it. So the game was actually surprisingly a lot of fun, and it played in about 45 minutes for 4 people.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is a pretty reasonable game for board game.
I feel like most board games nowadays respect people's time like that. Unlike, because I feel like everybody's had that experience with Monopoly, where it's just like, hour 6. Oh god,
it
is the worst.
The fun part was trying to wheel and deal money and stock, just like hawking with the people next to you. So it's just trying to get your bang for your buck and talking people into dumb moves, which is really cool.
Can you buy that freely, or was it only a Kickstarter reward, or do you know?
I don't know where it came from. It was the first time any of us had played it, so the rule book was getting passed around like it was your turn here, your turn here. Just like it was like that. It's your move if you have the book. But no, it was a good time. Like, there was a couple different cards, or actually, it was one card. There was a volatile market card, which was like the chance and community chest cards. They could either go really bad or really poorly. Like, you're fired, and you have to pull all your tokens from the board. Like,
jeez. So at playdaytrader.com, it is only $35. Available now.
Yeah, it's not a bad game.
It's pretty cool.
Wouldn't be my favorite. I mean, obviously, my first choice is Cards Against Humanity, regardless of where you are. Yeah. And the more awkward that game is, the better it is.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then the other board game we played, we followed that up with playing Settlers of Catan.
Of course.
Yeah, that is not a quick game.
No.
This was the first time I've actually played the physical board game of it. And we had a 4-player game. I think it went about 3.5 hours.
Wow.
And we had one guy that ended up being like a sheep baron. I was hoarding bricks. Like, it was a riot. And every time sevens came up, it was like almost a fist fight at point. Because we had run a shortage of ore in that game, so no one could build any cities.
Oh, jeez.
And I was one move away from my master stroke because I had one of those cards that you keep face down for a while. And pull it up to where I could build 2 free roads. I could build 2 free roads, a settlement, and build 2 more roads and another settlement. I was out at 10. I was like, ugh! With my longest road card, like, I was golden, and then the move before me blocked me. I'm like, oh, and that's the dude that ended up winning. But no, it was a good time. Like, I recommend that. That's a good game. That is a good game. It gets interesting real quick.
Yeah.
So, back to video games. Alright, talked about BF4. I can scratch that off the list. And Power Star Golf. So, yeah, we paid that. Beat one of Moon Scores. It was great. Whatever. I finished Lego Marvel yesterday.
Oh.
Ooh. I actually sat down and pounded my way through the whole story mode.
Now you just have to do the rest of the 30 hours of side stuff.
I have to move on. I gotta get some more games in the end of the year.
It's a deep, dark hole, man.
It is. Well, I could see where it could be, especially each map having 10 of those little things to find.
I did them all because I'm weak.
That is, I couldn't chase that rabbit. I was having too much fun just playing with the quirkiness of that game.
Yeah.
Even though I think they aped Titanium Man for the Mega Doombot guy, the big Doombot.
Oh, yeah.
It looked just like Titanium Man.
Weird.
Anyway, that game's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that game's really good.
That's a lot of fun, and there are. So I streamed a good portion of me playing this game yesterday because I needed help figuring out one of these puzzles. I was sitting in this one spot in Latveria for like 20 minutes. I was like, I do not understand how a children's game could beat me like this.
Welcome to every Lego game. Where mine was the first time you fought the Hulkbuster, I had stopped the level halfway through, and when I get back, it has that yellow, like, sparkly thing on the back, and I'm like,
what do I do with that?
I don't know what to do. And then eventually I restarted the level, and it's like, oh, right, lasers. Great.
Yeah, lasers or fire, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever I got to heat up gold with, because that's the only way gold explodes is with lasers.
Makes sense.
But I got stuck in this one spot, so I'm like, I'm in a party with Moon. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stream this just because I don't know where to go. So by the time he loads up, I just had that face palm moment, like I can't believe I didn't think of this.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I just have to destroy that spider web up
I
there.
got to blow up this thing here and then use. Oh my god!
I made a bridge. Yay me, Lego games.
So angry. Why did I not think to throw a piece of the ground at it?
Yeah.
Like I was literally like angry. I was having meltdowns all over this stream too.
Yeah, it's because that game just does that to you, where you're like, it's a game for children. I'm a 30-something-year-old man. I cannot figure out. There's this. I'm not even trying. I just want to finish this game.
Yeah. I just want to see what quirkiness Marvel reference this has to offer at this point.
So did you go and look at any like facts for the game or anything?
No.
So that's my favorite thing, where I'll go to look for a fact because I'm like, okay, all right, okay, I'm not figuring this out. I've been here for like 10 minutes. This is a kid's game. I'm just gonna look up a fact. Let me have someone tell me how to do it. And all this stuff is sort of like, yeah, make your way through the level, and once you get to this boss, fight the boss. I'm like, no, but the level is the part I'm having. And then people post videos, and it'll be like either the most annoying voice, or it's just like they're fast forwarding through the level. I'm just like, oh my god, tell me how to make a bridge, please.
Yeah. And that was like even at the very end where you're fighting Galactus, where I got everything. Like the first two went fine. I got the fans blowing in his face, so he can't come near me anymore. And then you're building the globe bomb at the end. So and I'm like, I got the first two portions of it done, or first three portions. They're like, all right, I know, okay, go blow this up, move those pieces here, move these pieces here. All right, no problem. And I'm running around. I'm like, where is the last bit? Like
that happened to me a bunch in that fight because everything is going everywhere.
So I didn't understand. It didn't dawn on me until it's like, oh, there's fire. Who do I have to put out fire? And it didn't dawn on me that Storm could put out fire. I'm like,
oh yeah.
So it was another like probably 30,000 studs just by not just dying and stepping in whatever that viscous goo was that kept killing me.
Yeah, and all you're doing is looking for Iceman, but Storm's got your back.
Well, yeah, I probably forgot. And I kept taking Doom over to the council. I'm like, why isn't this working?
God, that game's good, though. Except for those little issues. That game's real good.
Yeah, but it's... And once you figure out, you're like, how did I not think of this? Like, or like another one when I was trying to track Doom down in that submarine level that was underwater.
Oh, God, that thing.
Where there's that one thing, the one tugboat that's way off to the side that has the crane on it to blow up those boxes with Iron Man. I didn't blow up a single box with his missiles the entire game until that point.
Yeah, and that's like the only place you have to go do that.
I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I can see the thing. You telling me lightning won't light those up and go to arc to that? Like, come on.
Yeah. Come on, it's lightning.
Why should I expect physics from a Lego game?
Storm, get over here.
But no, that was fun. And Captain America's meltdown with the Statue of Liberty was probably my favorite part of that game.
That was pretty good.
It's like he's so sad, and then there's Coulson with the little cookie jar.
Yeah. I really do hope, as a Marvel fan, I do hope that you take the time to go back to it to get some of the secret levels and stuff at some point, because I feel like a lot of that is really deep fan service that you would probably get more out of than I did.
I may check it out because I did have fun. I do enjoy playing that game.
Yeah.
Like, I did run into Captain America with Johnny Storm, and I got the "Don't I Know You" achievement, which was
nice.
That was genius.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean that was purely great.
Some of those achievements in there, they pop up, and you're like, yeah, it's awesome.
It's like, all right, I kind of love you a little more now.
Yeah.
All right. So then, lastly, I got my copy of Halo Master Chief Collection.
Oh.
I hate this game.
Yeah, that seems to be about the reaction.
No, I mean I hate the way the Halo plays. I mean, so all right, so I'm suffering through this just for the experience.
Are you streaming it?
No.
Oh.
It would not be legible.
It would just be like, Master Chief.
How could you know how vehicles should control now? Why wouldn't you patch that or upgrade that with everything else you did?
It's like me driving a vehicle in Borderlands again, where it's like, oh god, I forgot these are broken. Whoa.
It is one of the worst experiences, moving that Warthog around.
Yep.
It got to the point where I got out and I just ran everywhere.
I feel like you and I are the only people that don't love the Warthog. Everybody's like, oh man, it's so fun to play. It's so slippery. It's the worst.
It's the best.
So Hannah, I've always been curious. What about the Warthog's driving do you find fun? Like what is its core appeal?
So let me clarify. I only find driving the Warthog fun in Halo multiplayer. The single player, I totally agree with you. It's annoying. It's hard to navigate those levels in that thing.
Well, sorry, then there's death on either side of you in every one of these areas.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to go in a straight line. Apparently, that's impossible because Master Chief has done nothing but drink the entire day.
I just want to try a straight line. Ba, 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 ba.
There isn't a field sobriety test. I would be pulled over just starting it at this point.
Yeah.
No, it is a little weird inside the actual missions, and it's something they probably should have resolved in the single player at least, but I don't know.
Or at least making an option like they do with everything else in that collection. Like, I can really respect... I don't even know who developed that, but I can really respect them for, putting the new graphics and the old graphics in there, all the different physics and everything for all the multiplayer and all the maps. Yeah. It just seems like something that's so divisive that they might have at least given you the option where it's like, do you want to do like good driving or do you want to do classic driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was rage-inducing at this one point, like where I just kept driving off. I was like, "This is Borderlands all over again right now."
Just going off a cliff for 2 hours.
I haven't gone back to the pre-sequel since that incident. So, oh man, but I do like how the classic graphics and the updated one is literally the back button. Yeah, it switches on an instant.
And I feel like that was probably one of the biggest things they could do, because when you switch it back to the old ones, you're just like, oh god. Like, originally you're sort of like, this game looks good. Like, all right, it's Halo, okay. You switch it back to the old ones, you're like, oh god, oh, they're so bad.
Yeah.
And then you think, like, how was this mind-blowing?
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the reason why I didn't like it originally, because I didn't like the look of it.
Well, it was so flat.
Yes.
Especially coming from PC games, PC first-person shooters where Knobs and I were really cutting our teeth.
Yeah.
You looked at Halo and you're like, huh? Okay.
I
okay, guys.
Like, I played Unreal. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's like, I'm still at that point, like, I just do not understand this at all.
Yeah.
And, man, and the shooting, and then I still don't understand how if I run over the weapon of the same type, it doesn't up my ammo. Like, it's just, that's driving me bananas right now.
I thought it did that.
No! Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you.
No, stupid.
No, because I find myself running out of ammo constantly in this game.
I feel like that's a Master Chief Collection issue, not necessarily a Halo issue.
Oh, come on.
I hope it is.
If it's like that in 2, I'm microwaving this disc. I'm only going to play 3 and 4.
You could just trade it back in.
Fair enough.
I mean, I only spent $30 on it. I will destroy this disc.
Just to prove a point.
Just to make hi Samson. Just to make myself feel better about this, because it's just Like, and your what gun is that you use? Like the Halo Lancer, what is it? The assault rifle is the worst gun in the world. Like, I mean, I might as well be throwing BBs at the Covenant at this point.
Does it
Because
let
they
you
don't do
aim down
any damage.
sights?
No, there's no sights. Surprisingly, I have enjoyed that part of it.
I forgot.
That I don't have to aim down iron sights for every shot.
Yeah.
Because I just instinctively do that.
Oh my god, I just don't want to play any of this. Like, I so respect people that love Halo. Like, I absolutely get where they're coming from, and I absolutely get why it would click with certain people. Oh,
I don't.
it's just so, it's a mess. Man. Well, I appreciate you falling on the sword and seeing if it's still, I was going to say holds up, but whatever the opposite of that is.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not like I haven't played this before.
Right.
I've attempted this game 5 times previously.
I finished 3 Halo games. I don't like them.
Wow.
Reach was okay. Reach was probably the least offensive of all of them.
I would agree because Reach had a nice assault rifle that actually was accurate and did damage.
Well, and Reach didn't have Master Chief, who sucks as a character.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna sally forth and just keep playing it
Man,
because
Godspeed.
the more I get to the point, like I remember this and I'm just play it.
Hey, wait until you get to the library. Remember that part? Where it's the same repeating room for 2 hours?
Yep.
Man, yay Halo.
Well, hopefully the new skin will make every room look different.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now. That's a no.
No, just let him fool himself.
Okay.
It'll be great,
Well.
guys. It'll be great. It'll get better, right, guys? Right?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't.
You should
Maybe.
You should really reconsider streaming your descent into madness.
You should. You totally should.
How should I label them? Descent.
Yeah. Descent 1, Descent
date.
2.
Descent and the date.
Not safe for work.
All right. So if I am ever playing that, I will stream it from now on.
All right.
Good. That's what you should be doing.
People need to experience what you're experiencing through you.
And if I'm in a party, that's probably my favorite thing with streaming is like I'm usually always in a party having some weird conversations you're only hearing half of.
Yeah.
And just so first thing, my disclaimer is like, hey, I'm in a party with someone. It's gonna get weird.
It's gonna get weird.
So it's gonna get weird. Or I'm gonna go off on some tangents how Doom bots are. I wonder how we can afford them for a while. Because Lapberry ain't that big.
No.
It is not a resource-rich area.
Very prosperous, though. Somehow.
And I don't care the argument they'd leave them in poverty. That doesn't add up.
Yeah.
You
Show me
cannot
the
be that
receipts.
Unless you figure out to turn lead into gold. Whatever.
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
But that's what I've been playing this week.
All right, Hannah, what about you?
So I don't know if I mentioned it while we were recording, but yesterday I went on an 8-hour road trip to drive my younger brother back to school after his Thanksgiving break. And it was me, him, and my dad. So I busted out some classics for the trip back on my PSP. I played a little bit of Mega Man 2, beat that, and played a little bit of the original Legend of Zelda.
Oh.
So it was the first thing I grabbed on my way out the door. So I was like, all right, we'll do this. I've been playing a bunch of this mobile game that I came across called Two Dots. It is it's a puzzle game. It's sort of in the same vein as like Candy Crush, but it's not a match 3.
Is it a match 2?
It is. It is a match 2.
Match 3 is too hard for you. Let me tell you about Two Dots.
Yeah, let me tell you about Two Dots. So you start with a standard puzzle grid, it's filled with different colored dots.
Bunch of bubbles.
Yep. You connect 2 or more dots of the same color together to make them disappear. You don't have to, match them. You just literally draw a line between the 2 of them.
Okay.
You can connect 4 or more dots of the same color in a square to make all dots of that color disappear.
Okay.
You can make bigger squares, and the dots that you leave inside the square that aren't connected become bombs, and they take out a radius of 1 dot, so they take out a total of 9 dots.
Okay.
When you actually set them off. There's a whole bunch of different little it goes in stages. So you start stage 1, get rid of 10 red dots. Okay, easy.
So here's my pull quote for 2 dots so far. A surprising amount of depth.
A surprising amount of depth. Yes.
Boston, TVGP.
There you go. You basically just go through. You have lives, unfortunately. You have microtransactions, unfortunately. But it's still a pretty fun game. You can do the classic, like, I'm going to change the clock on my phone and get my lives back.
Oh, yeah.
There's a wait period in between that, but they don't really care. There's like special blocks in different levels too, because you go through stages. There's like a tundra stage and a bunch of other stuff. So, but it's a really interesting game. It's a nice time waster when you're just sitting around doing nothing and you don't happen to have like a Vita or something handy. I'm a big fan.
Nice.
I played a little bit of Pinball Arcade on the Vita, and if I can make a recommendation about this game, don't.
Not on Vita?
It is broken.
Oh, really?
It's literally broken. I upgraded. So I bought the Medieval Madness and Bride of Pinbot tables.
As you do.
Because obviously I need to have Medieval Madness.
Yeah.
Well, I bought the Pro tables.
Oh, no.
And so apparently if you buy the Pro upgrade on Vita, you end up in this loop where you try to start the table and it says, hey, there's a new version of this table on the PlayStation Store, and it loads up the PlayStation Store page, and there's no button to download anything. So it just it doesn't ever start the table, it just goes, hey, there's a new version of this table. No, there isn't.
No, there isn't. I just want to play a 20-year-old pinball game.
So I had to uninstall the whole thing, because you can't remove individual DLC on the Vita.
Oh, wow.
So I had to completely uninstall Pinball Arcade, reinstall it, start downloading the Pro Pack, and what it does is it downloads the regular table pack and then the Pro upgrade. So you have to cancel the download for the Pro upgrade before it finishes, because if you don't, your game's going to break and you have to start all over again.
What a wonderful time we live in.
But I did finally get it working, and it's great. Medieval Madness is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
the best table ever.
It really is.
I think my recommendation, owning a lot of those pro versions of the tables, is just don't in general. Unless you're like a super huge pinball fan, there's nothing there for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing in that experience that will make you feel better about spending that money.
Okay. Well, I will definitely remember that now.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to do that.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like a bunch of extra options which only really matter if you know the actual table really well. And then it's a bunch of really detailed history about the table, which...
Kind of cool.
Kind of cool, but maybe not worth the money.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So I also played a little bit of Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, because that is the Game Club game for this month.
That's right.
Yes, you should be playing that.
Hey, don't yell at me.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been playing Halo.
Yeah,
Hey,
well, that happens.
Stay on.
So it's still as good as I remember. I really, really love this game and how stupidly fun it is.
I should play that game someday, huh?
You really should.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You never finished it, did you?
I got to Detroit every time, and I'm like, I'm okay.
Which is understandable. It sort of slows down there, and you want to be able to
play
around a little bit more. Yeah,
like an hour.
Sorta.
It grinds to a halt there. Let me
if you don't
clarify.
love that game by that point, it's really hard to get moving.
Yeah, I really love that game, and then it starts handing out quests, basically, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Did this just turn into like a full-on RPG? I don't know, man.
It really does.
It pulls a square.
Hey, I already own it on Steam. Good news.
Yeah,
I should
all right.
stream
Don't have
that.
to buy it. You should.
That way people keep me honest.
Yeah, I was thinking about streaming it, but I just don't have. I'm gonna sit down and play it like an hour here, an hour there. I don't think streaming that's gonna go terribly well for me. But the one thing I did not remember about the director's cut is that the cutscenes are all pixelated and nasty looking.
Oh, really?
Because they didn't re-render them at all.
Weird.
And it honestly looks like they like downgraded in appearance between the regular version and the director's cut version.
I bet someone has a mod out there to replace them or something.
Probably, I'd have to check. It's just really, it's one of those odd things. Like you're like, oh, it's the director's cut, so you'd expect it to be a lot nicer looking.
4K cutscenes.
You'd hope, but it's not. It really isn't. But I mean, if you can look past that, it took me a minute because I was like, oh, those are really ugly. One of the other things, and I was talking to the other Jay-Z about this earlier. The highlighting in this game for items that you can pick up is really annoying for one reason: cardboard boxes. You can pick up any cardboard box in the game. The problem is they're everywhere,
Yes,
and the only use they have is like distracting an enemy. There's nothing in them.
Can't even hide in them.
No, I've never popped open a cardboard box to find an item. I've thrown them at enemies and they've been like, "What was that?" And that's about it. But they're everywhere and they highlight. They have that bright yellow outline on them, and you're like, "Oh, there's an item." No, it's just a cardboard box.
Well, that seems cruel.
Yeah, it really is. That's another thing I bet there's a mod out there for.
Oh, probably.
But takedowns feel so awesome. You just sneak up behind a dude, hit the button, and he's out.
Judo chop.
Yep. The shooting is, it always kind of was a little underwhelming. But I'm still having a ton of fun with this game. I just finished the first story mission after the prologue. And now I have to go out into Detroit and do all that stuff and move on with the game.
Do as the Detroiters do.
Do as the Detroiters do, if you will. Do as the Lions would do.
Well, at least at one point they did fix the lighting in Detroit. That's one hope for the future.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. And I just realized I was looking at my achievement list for this, and I have to get the Foxies and the Hounds and all those achievements again for the director's cut version.
Oh, rough.
So I think I might have to switch up the difficulty level and try that.
Yeah.
Because that was fun when I did it in the original. That was a ton of fun. The one thing I'm not looking forward to in this playthrough is the Missing Link DLC.
Yeah.
Because I never finished that. I played like 2 hours of that, and I was kind of like, this isn't great. I'm gonna pretend this didn't happen.
Rapes.
Yeah.
So what could our follow-up game be to this? If you finish it early, you should play Syndicate. It's better.
There you go.
Oh, I don't know about better.
It's a stretch goal.
It plays better. It plays better. The story is not better. The story in Human Revolution is pretty great.
Yeah, but if you want to play a game that's fun, you're going to play.
Shots fired.
Fair enough. I know. I enjoyed Syndicate. I really liked it. But I don't know. I wish you could take that voice acting talent and put it in the Deus Ex universe.
I agree.
That would be awesome. But it's a really great game. Everyone should be trying to play this for the game club. It's top notch, and it's probably my favorite game from that year. Still, even with all the little issues it has.
Yeah, but it could be Syndicate.
That could be Syndicate.
Yeah.
But the majority of my week was spent playing Destiny because I have a problem.
Yeah, I just don't get this Destiny thing. Everyone
It's
can't
got
stop
bars
playing.
that need filling. I don't know what else to tell you.
I like
Literally,
filling. Don't get me wrong. I like filling bars as much as the next dude, but
I find the gameplay satisfying enough to where I can literally just turn my brain off, play it, and be like, "Oh, cool! I got some stuff." And it taps something. It's got that X factor of just this is really fun. I've played it 8 million times, but it's still really fun.
It's the same thing for me. It's the same. It pokes the same part of my brain that Diablo does.
Yes.
Where it's sort of like, all right, look, I can kind of stop worrying about stuff for a little bit and just kind of play something that's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable pair of sweatpants.
It is. That you have to have
sweatpants.
plus 18 or 27 light on to level up.
Yeah.
So I've finally finished the game. First off, and
How about that ending, huh?
there was a story.
Yeah.
It was just that felt like I feel like there are games that start like that.
Yeah, like that's the end of the prologue, and then like as soon as the camera pans out, it's a late title card. You're like,
Yeah.
Destiny.
Destiny.
That's-
so
yeah,
the game's starting now.
Yeah.
Which is actually
Destiny,
appropriate.
then credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have high
come on.
hopes for the upcoming DLC because it sounds like Bungie has heard the concerns and the complaints, and I feel like I would like for them to do something. I think the lore is pretty. I like that. Stupid dog. Everybody
Dog
needs
out
to
of
watch the
nowhere.
live stream. I feel like the lore is super cool. They just need to address it at all.
They need to bring it into the game.
Yeah.
Dog is awesome.
Just it's like little like knives. Yeah, stop it.
So sure.
Oh god. Anyway,
All right. So
Destiny.
how's Destiny?
So I've been having every time I log into Destiny, it shows up that warning of like your network's on a strict NAT, so you
Oh,
need to
weird.
fix that. We're gonna have problems. So I did all the crazy stuff you have to do to fix that. I opened ports on my router. I gave my PS4 a static IP. I did all that stuff you had to do, and I was still getting, hey, you've got a strict NAT. So I just firebombed it, gave it a static IP, and put it in the DMZ on my router.
Totally
all ports.
normal stuff.
Yeah, totally normal stuff that you should have to do to get rid of error warnings on your on
Get
your
rid
system.
of Error Buffalo.
But it went away.
Oh, well, crap.
Yeah, so that's good.
If you just follow our easy 50-step process,
Yeah, I
You'll
hope
be
you take.
playing in no time.
yeah, buy a new
Yeah,
router,
I
set
hope
it
you
up.
took Intro to Networking.
Get your CCNA degree,
Yes.
set up your DMZ.
Yeah, it was.
Networking jokes. I'm here all week.
Yay. Yeah, it was real fun. But I've just been every time there's new bounties, I'm on top of them.
They expanded it to 10 slots now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is real great because you can just grab all of them and go.
that's the good stuff.
So let's see. I had a real interesting moment with one of the bounties this week. So one of them was the Black Garden on Mars. Kill the divisive mind. It's like the sub boss of that mission.
Okay.
So I started the mission on hard. I got disconnected because of the strict NAT issues I was having that I hadn't fixed yet.
Okay.
I resumed the mission, but I forgot to switch the difficulty back to hard, which you think it would just do automatically. Maybe.
One would assume.
One would assume that, if you're resuming something, it would resume it with the exact same settings that you left it.
You're crazy.
That's crazy talk. Because then I get in there and I killed the target for the bounty, and the bounty doesn't pop, and I'm like, why did that happen? And I open up the navigation menu, and it's like, oh, you're on regular. Okay, well, I'll just hop out back into
Oh,
orbit,
boy. Here we go.
and I'll
You
set it
made
to
a
hard,
mistake.
and I'll come back.
Nope.
And no, I won't. I'll come back to the point right after I killed
Yep.
the target for the bounty, and now I have to finish it because I can't restart the bounty.
Right.
I can't restart the instance at all.
This is one of the weirdest things about Destiny is if you quit a mission after you've completed it once on that difficulty, if you quit a mission in the middle of it, it brings you back to that checkpoint.
Yes, but the problem is now, there is a restart button. In all, theoretically, I should have been able to restart this thing.
Yeah. Like
I
the
couldn't-
mission.
It wouldn't restart at all, no matter what I did. So I go in, I just finish this mission, and it's the last mission of the game, so it's not a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And I'm on hard, so I
Yeah.
want to make sure it's finished. So I go and do it on hard, and hobgoblins are going to be the death of me. I hate those things.
Have you done the raid yet?
No, I have not.
Okay. You'll hate them more. Don't worry.
I'm sure I will.
yeah.
They are just, you hit them once, and if you don't crit them, and you don't hit them in that little spot in their chest,
Yep.
they get that fire shield, and you have to wait 3 seconds to even take another shot at them.
Yep.
So that drove me crazy, and those things were just roaming around, and you're trying to concentrate on this giant Vex that's just stomping around in this arena area that can just obliterate you if it gets you in its
It
sights.
sneezes and you explode.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I figured out the trick to that is to always be peeking out around a corner that's on your left because their gun is on their
Right.
right arm, and the way they're facing you, they can't actually shoot you.
Right.
I felt real proud of that moment because I was like, I never figured that sort of stuff out. But I assume everyone else figured that out months ago.
Yeah.
But I felt good about it. So I take it down and I restart the mission, and literally, like, if I hadn't disconnected in the first place, this would have taken me 2 minutes. It took me 2 days because I gave up after I figured it out the one day. I was like, no, I'm done for the day.
Too mad.
It's
Gotta
like,
go.
it's like it was like the last bounty I had to do. I was like, I'll just wait for tomorrow. I'll wait for a refresh and just pick them all back up. So that was unfortunate. But then I got the bounty to go do the daily heroic strike. So I'm like, okay, I'll hop into the daily heroic strike. Let's see what I get matched up with. I hop into it and it doesn't match me with anybody. It just drops me into the strike.
Yup. One
And
of
I'm
Destiny's biggest problems.
There's no matchmaking on the daily strike.
There's matchmaking on like half of the game, but if you want to do
Yeah.
like the Nightfall strike, if you want to do like the weekly heroic strike or like the weekly heroic mission, it's just like whatever, find a friend. It's like, but
Yeah.
sometimes I can't.
Yeah. So I started up and I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm solo on. All right, well, we'll see what happens.
Which strike was it?
It was it one on the moon?
The summoning pits.
Yes.
Okay. That one's
so
a
I
little
go,
rough solo.
Yeah, that one's real rough solo.
Yeah.
I got into the gate, and then it was like, okay, here's a couple of here's like 3 hive ultras and a whole bunch of thralls, and they're majors, so they're not like most thralls are one hit kill. These are not. And I'm not. My gear's not great. Like I'm in all blues with 2 purples. And I just hit level 24 today.
Okay.
So I'm not really fit to solo any strike at all. But I tried. I died like 5 times, and I realized this is probably not the way to go about this.
This
But
will
I did
probably
try.
not happen.
Yeah. So that was sort of the end of my Destiny day today. But I can't get. This game's awesome.
Yeah.
After all that.
Yeah, with
After
all of
all
its
that,
frustrations.
I will still go back and play this tomorrow because just going around the patrol missions is a ton of fun. Just the thing that keeps coming back to me is that the gameplay itself is fantastic. The shooting is just fun.
Yeah.
And playing around with new weapons is just fun. And leveling up I feel like I've accomplished something anytime I get a new piece of gear that actually levels me up.
Yeah.
And like you get that moment where it's like, oh, I have like 80 Vanguard marks. I can go get a new legendary.
Yeah.
I went and bought a new legendary chest piece, and I jumped from 21 to 23 just off of that.
Yes.
It was fantastic. It was just like, okay, buy new gear, level up twice. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then but now I'm not looking forward to leveling up the legendary weapon I have because I'm gonna have to farm materials like crazy.
Yeah. Just do if you need ascendant energies and shards, just do the public quests.
Yes, the public events. Those are also a ton of fun when those just pop up randomly, and you're like the best part is when you're about to start a mission, and you've got like you're like about to start a strike or something, and you've done matchmaking, and you all drop in and you land, and there's a public event going on. It's like, okay, it's just in agreement. We're gonna do the public event first.
Yeah, we'll take a
And
short
then
detour.
we're gonna take care of everything else. But I haven't had any issues with anyone I've been matched up with. It's all been like either people not chatting or people that are perfectly pleasant and like, hey, you need to go this way and come over here and do this.
Yeah.
And no like screaming 12-year-olds or someone blasting music over their headset. None of that stuff.
When was the last time any of you guys ran into that? It's
It's
been
been
a
a
while for me.
The last time, a couple times I played Counter-Strike, I ran into it, but that was on PC.
I avoid chat, like general chat completely now, so I mean
I couldn't tell you last time I was in general chat, to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean I just don't even do it anymore because every time I would hop in it would be that.
Yeah.
I know, I take it back. Did have a few great Battlefield moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Some
that-
kid screaming at his Xbox the entire time.
Oh yeah.
That was fantastic.
Nice. But yeah, that is all I've been playing this week.
All right, I have quite a list here.
All right.
Let's start off with Geometry Wars 3.
Ooh.
I know. I saw that. I almost downloaded it.
That came out this week. I think it's about $15.
Okay.
I have played maybe 15 minutes of it. I played the normal arcade mode, of which all the 6 modes are still back. That's Geometry Wars. That I can safely say that is still Geometry Wars.
Nice.
The only thing that's different is the play field that you're on tilts a little bit more than I think it did before when you're going around the map. But not to a degree that it makes you sick. The real big draw of this version is the adventure mode, where it's kind of 50 nodes all across this map. And on each node there's something different that happens. Like the very first one is just, hey, survive, play for 3 minutes, standard rules. But you're playing on a sphere.
Yeah.
The second one was, I think it was another one of those 3 minutes one, or it was the 3 lives one. But you're playing on a much smaller playfield. So I think that's probably the main draw of this game is kind of, yeah, it has the leaderboards, it has the score attack of all the other stuff. It has all the same modes that all the other ones did. But it seems like adventure mode would be kind of cool.
Nice.
But I haven't spent enough time in that, other than to play it and say, all right, that's still that game. That's okay. My wife and I played more Borderlands pre-sequel.
Nice.
We made it to that first big town. I don't know, the one with the Marif.
Yeah.
I don't even care about this game to know enough about what it's called.
I know, and I was kind of excited to find out more about Borderlands. I want to find out why Jack got his face ripped off.
So, like, my biggest problem is we sat down to play and we were like, all right, we're going to play some pre-sequel. We played about an hour when it came out. Let's just spend a little bit more time with it. Let's do the due diligence. So we get in, and immediately the Australian lady on the moon that's sort of tutorializing you says, well, you have to go fight this boss. Of course, it's a boss that's yelling at you the entire time. And you have to go launch on one of his man jump jet
the
things.
jump pad things. Yeah.
But when you go over to get to it, of course he disabled it. Oh no, you're gonna have to go to these areas to do this thing. But that thing's broken. Oh no! And I was just like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore.
Wow.
I am more than willing to put up with that sort of stuff when the environment and the story is interesting, but neither are at the beginning of the pre-sequel.
Wow.
And then as soon as you get into that city with the Marif in it, of course there's 4 missions you have to go do. One is following a claptrap around, which was fine. That was okay. And then the other one is, these 3 things are broken. Go put them. Go put them here. And then the one that's broken, oh no, go back to do this. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
It was... Number one, I have way better games to spend my time with right now. But
yeah, you
two, when you look at Borderlands 1, you could deal with enough of that kind of BS that was built into that game because it was interesting and it was fresh.
It was new, yeah.
Yeah, and Borderlands 2, there's something about it where it's sort of like, oh, that's broken. Okay, cool. Well, at least the level I'm in is pretty cool. It's twisty-turny, it's up and down, or it at least aesthetically looks interesting. So I'll go see whatever crazy stuff is going to happen here. But when I keep running into Borderlands paint by numbers, I'm kind of sick of it. I feel like my $60 wasn't well spent when the first boss is someone who's got a jump pad and he's yelling at me and there are all these midgets around everywhere and the movement sucks in the zero gravity.
God,
it's not that different, but it sucks.
Yeah, it feels like, do you know what? It feels like Halo.
It feels like I'm running through soup. Like, it feels like I'm underwater. I don't want to bag on this game too much because we've talked about it so much. It's not great. And I keep hoping that I'll go into it and we'll play a little bit and something will finally grab me and I'll really love it. But 2.5, 3 hours in, Jack is still complaining that he's trapped on that Hyperion ship, and it would be really nice if you would hurry to help him out. And I'm just like, dude, I forgot about you. Like, I don't even... Like, he was a fine villain in 2, but to make him the center of any sort of story in this is just not a really great choice.
Wow.
But I do genuinely like the stuff where the characters that are existing in the timeline that's after Borderlands 2, so basically in your narration timeline, them commenting on what you're doing in the pre-sequels timeline, I think is really interesting. Because, like, one point, you jump on your first jump pad, and Brick's like, man, we never got to jump on jump pads. And someone said, like, well, you got to do some other cool stuff. And he goes, yeah, man, but jump pads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. Like, keep that sort of level of quality up. But then it just turns into Jack being Jack again. And that's not that appealing. So, let's talk about something that's good in Borderlands. And that is Tales of the Borderlands.
Really?
Wow. This game is surprisingly really good. I
was not expecting this, I'm not gonna lie.
I wasn't either. I saw one really good review from, I don't remember who, but I know that they have not been too... Most people have not been too kind on Telltale's games in general, mostly because they're really broken.
Yeah.
And there was one or two reviews I saw that was just sort of like, wow, this game is really good.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, why not spend like the $5 and get in the first episode? I'm probably about an hour and a half into the first episode. I don't think I've finished the first chapter of the first episode. So it seems to be of a significant length.
That's good.
It kind of hits the high points of the Borderlands universe without being the paint-by-numbers pre-sequel stuff. So
Yeah.
when you start up the game, it's very clearly in the future after everything in this game has finished.
Oh, cool.
And then you're retelling the game to somebody that basically at the very beginning, suppose for the first freaking 5 minutes, somebody knocks you out at the beginning and he's dragging you somewhere and he's asking you what happened and you're telling him the story, which actually turns out to be kind of funny when you lose the game, because I had forgotten that he was telling this other guy the story when I lost for some reason, and the guy is like, and really, and you died there? You think I'm gonna believe that because you're alive right now? And your character's like, well, maybe it didn't happen like that. It opens, the credits sequence at the beginning has a cool indie song in it that sounds like a Borderlands song. It kind of hits those high points. At the beginning of the game, you're a Hyperion employee, and this takes place after the events of Borderlands 2. So Jack is dead, Hyperion is kind of left afloat, and everybody's vying for positions in the company, and everybody is being the worst sort of person, because that's what Jack was. So you're this Hyperion employee that is moving up through the ranks, and he thinks he's going to go get a promotion. And then you meet your boss, who is... I really don't want to spoil who voice acts that character, because it's someone that everybody loves, and I don't believe I have seen him voice act a video game before. And
is it H. John?
It is not.
Oh,
but it's someone we love just as much. Ooh. And I'm surprised they didn't sell this game with his voice acting. He only shows up for a little bit, but it's so good.
Nice.
I'm I'm really surprised that I think the thing that I really like is Telltale is looking at the Borderlands universe and the Borderlands lore as it is from the Hyperion side, as opposed to from the Vault Hunter side.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of breathes a little bit of fresh air into it. You know, it's continuing the storyline that happened after Borderlands 2. You're in control of a character that's pretty likable, and he has two friends that are also pretty likable. I haven't even met the other character yet. And it's a Telltale game. So it's kind of the, this person will remember that choice.
Yeah.
It's the 4 dialogue options, and one of them is silence. It's that same sort of formula, but not only does it look like a Telltale game, but it looks like a Borderlands game, and I think the thing that I'm most surprised about is that it's actually good, especially coming off of pre-sequel, especially coming off of people being a little cool on Telltale's games as of late. It seems like they really hit the nail on the head for this one, and it's only $5 for the first episode, so
not bad.
Why not? So I'm hopefully gonna finish that here pretty soon. I wanna just kind of power through the rest of it and finish it, so I can figure out if the first episode is really good or not. But that's pretty cool. So good on them.
All signs point to yes.
Yes, so far.
Very nice.
Nobody quote me on that. I played so since I was sick, I played a lot more Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Ooh.
I only have a handful of trophies left.
Nice.
I have all the characters unlocked. I've probably finished it around 50 times, I think.
Jesus.
That's kind of low. Honestly,
Really?
each run can be fairly short.
Okay.
All I have to go through, quote unquote, all I have to go through now and do is basically complete the checklist with each character. So when you pick a character on the main menu, up in the upper left there's 2, 5, 7 things you can do.
Okay.
I just have to go through and do all of those with all the characters, and then do all of them on hard with the very last character.
Nice.
Which is impossible, because if you get hit as that character, it gets game over. If you get hit at all, even once, it's complete game over.
Gross.
So, yeah. I think I can platinum it. I'm trying to figure out if I want to or not. I feel like I don't hate this game yet, but I'm worried that going through and platinuming it will make me do so because of the sheer amount of stuff I still have to do. It's completely attainable because I feel like my skill level in the game and my understanding of the items is deep enough now that I can kind of game the system. Where it's sort of like, okay, well, I have this item and I know it works well with this item, or I can walk into a room and go, no, that item is going to totally ruin my run. Either I'm going to re-roll that item through something in the game, or I'm just going to keep on moving. So I don't know. I'm not really putting it on the back burner for right now, but I'm playing another game that is kind of taking over my life at the moment. So I would rather leave this as kind of like my after dinner mint rather than my main course. So, but still, get Binding of Isaac. Binding of Isaac's real great. If you're watching the show like right now, it's still free today. So go get that. It's free.
Nice.
What else do I have here on the list? Persona Q. I don't know what the subtitle is. That Shadows of the Labyrinth, I think.
Yeah.
They took Persona 3 and Persona 4 and they smushed it in with Etrian Odyssey, and they put it on the 3DS. It's really good. It is also an Etrian Odyssey game, so I am probably 5 hours into it, and That's just awesome. Started the second floor of the first dungeon.
Oh.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of meat on that bone.
Yeah.
I think the primary question that most people are asking is, I like Etrian Odyssey, but I haven't played the Persona games. Should I pick this up? Probably not, because the game assumes you've played either of the Persona games you pick at the beginning. It basically gives the option of, do you like Persona 3 or do you like Persona 4? And I chose 4 because, duh.
Yeah.
And it kind of dumps you right into the game as soon as Persona 4 would have finished.
Oh, wow.
And no character introductions, no nothing. It is just, hey, you're this main character. Hey, there's these other people. Remember them? Cool. Let's get in the dungeon.
That's brutal.
Yeah, and I kind of like it as someone who loves Persona 3 and 4, because you're not like, this is Kanji. He's this guy, and he likes sewing, but he looks mean. I don't care. I've played Persona 4 and Golden. Like, I got it already. So I'm kind of happy that they don't have the training wheels on. They have the training wheels on for the Etrian Odyssey side, because they kind of... It feels like a much easier Etrian Odyssey game than 4 was.
Yeah.
And then very quickly they introduce the idea of your personas in the game, and every character can have 2 of them now.
Oh, awesome.
So you have your primary one and you have your sub one. And there's a lot of systems in an Etrian Odyssey game. So it's basically, you get all the skills and you get all the improvements from both of your personas, but also your secondary persona's health and mana adds on to the end of your health and mana bar. So the stronger persona you equip, the more resilient your character is.
Nice.
Which I thought was a really interesting way of attacking the problem of how do we deal with the benefits of a persona more than, hey, here's all these spells you can learn.
Yeah.
You don't capture persona like you do in any of the SMT games. You don't really... And it's a little bit harder at the beginning to get them than you would in a Persona game. You basically have to... in the Persona games, you have that... you exploit an enemy's weakness. In this game, when you do that, your next spell cast is free. No matter which spell you cast.
Wow.
So if you finish with a number of your characters in that state, you'll probably get a persona.
Oh, cool.
So it kind of there's so many benefits at that point for making sure you take advantage of weaknesses, even though spells are very expensive at the beginning of the game. Angel Eye in the chat says, so if you like the Persona games for the story, will you enjoy this game? So far, it seems like it. Basically, it seems like it's I picked the Persona 4 side. I'm assuming this is going to be the same for Persona 3. Basically, your party gets transported to another school in a different time, and everything is weird because it's a Persona game. I think if you love Persona and you haven't played Etrian Odyssey, this is probably a really, really good entry point for you, because it streamlines a lot of the harder Etrian Odyssey stuff that showed up in 4, and there's 5 difficulty levels, the lowest of which is it even says in game where it's like, hey, do you just want to enjoy the story? Just pick this one. You kind of know it's going to be the easiest.
Yeah.
So I would say if you've ever been interested in Etrian Odyssey, this is probably a good kind of you got chocolate in my peanut butter sort of thing to kind of enjoy the Etrian Odyssey side of stuff. But so far, seems great. I'm really looking forward to spending more time with it. I probably won't this year because there are way too many games to play. But so far it seems like it's a really great investment, and there's a ton of voice acting in that game,
Nice.
which I was really surprised about. So, okay, halfway through my list. Whew.
Oh, wow.
A new Tiny Tower game came out, Tiny Tower Vegas.
Hmm.
I can't do this again, guys.
Shit.
I deleted it. It's Tiny Tower. It's Vegas themed. I can't do it again. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wow.
If you've never played a Tiny Tower game, pick the original one up, probably.
Pick Tiny Death Star.
That's not around anymore.
Yeah, they got rid of
What?
it.
So
Yeah.
Disney forced a delisting of it a couple weeks ago without telling the developer. Yay! Guess who almost got closed?
The developer.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can't get that one anymore. Otherwise, that would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
I would still recommend the first one because it's kind of the most streamlined. Tiny Tower Vegas gives another currency in the form of chips, like poker chips that you use to play slot games and like chance games in your tower.
Okay.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's. If I had
Sounds
never
like-
played a Tiny Tower game or I was really hungering for one, it would probably be really great. But I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Fair enough.
What I have been playing a crap ton of is a game by our favorite mobile developer, Kairosoft.
Oh, hear that story.
They made a game called Beastie Bay.
Okay.
This game is super weird, guys. So it's
Yeah,
a
that's not
combination of Pokemon plus an RPG plus a god game where you're like building a city/island. And
Pokegod?
in the Kairosoft way, it's totally addictive and somehow it really works. So basically it's I don't even remember. I've been playing this game a lot. I don't even remember how the game starts out, but basically you're on this island, you have a little friend, you start out with a cat, and then you just start capturing monsters and you start leveling them up and exploring more of the ocean around you to level up and capture more monsters. And then at the same time, you're improving and designing the island you're on. I think both of you are downloading it at the moment.
I'm not downloading it. I'm definitely just checking that it does, in fact, look like a Kairosoft game.
It is totally free. Everybody should go download it. At least try it. It's completely free. And I think it's like $4 to remove the ads, which is totally reasonable. It has that Kairosoft bug where I'll play half of their games and say like, all right, and that one's not for me. And then I'll play the other half of the games, like Game Dev Story, Grand Prix Story, that soccer game, and this game where I just have to keep playing it so I can get everything in the game. Please, God, stop me. It's really Angel Line Chat asks, what's the name again? Beastie Bay. Beast IE space Bay. It's really great. It's whoa, calm it down. Oh, hey. It's racing out to get Beastie Bay, man.
Yeah.
I can't recommend this game enough for... Like, going through each dungeon of the game maybe takes a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Everything around your island is very, very easy to control. It's very easy to understand how you get your upgrades for all the stuff, how to build places and buildings for all of the people that live on your island. And it has this really easy, natural progression of, okay, you unlocked everything in here. Here's a new island that has 2 new spots. Finish both of those, it'll unlock more stuff. When you've explored the whole island, it'll unlock another one.
That's cool.
And it has this really natural progression. And at no point, I've probably been playing for, let's say, 20 hours. And at the 20-hour mark, once I finished another island, it then opened up in-app purchases, which is crazy all the way at that point. And it's for something you don't need.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it if you really want, but you legitimately don't need to do that. Like, they don't have any energy in the game. Like, all of your monsters have health bars, of course. But if they get too damaged and you, say your party wipes in a dungeon, they just go back to their home on your island and they just rest up for a minute and then they're ready to go again.
Cool.
There's no like, well, your monster needs 24 hours to get better. Which I appreciate, Kairosoft. Good on
Thanks, guys.
you. So go buy that. That game's super great. And I think the last game here on my list is Dragon Age Inquisition, which the in-game map says I've played 13 hours this week. Wow. I'm trying to figure out where I start with this game. There's a ton of stuff in this game.
That's what I've heard.
I think they really took the criticisms of Dragon Age 2 to heart. And
One would hope.
And said, like, all right, people had problems with that game. We're going to fix all of them, and we're going to show them how we make a Dragon Age game. We're going to make the best Dragon Age game.
Did they do it?
So far, I think so.
Really?
I was never the biggest fan of 1.
Okay. I was pretty big on that one.
So the great thing about Inquisition is it has the battle engine from both 1 and 2 at the same time. So I'm playing on PS4, so if you want to play as Dragon Age 2, you just hold down R2 and your character will attack, and you have your like almost Phantasy Star Online like weapon or like skill wheel for your face buttons.
Yeah.
Standard stuff from Dragon Age 2. Or if you push in the touchpad, it zooms to the top view, and you have the strategic mode.
So it zooms all the way out?
It zooms all the way out, straight top down.
Awesome.
Even better, though, in that mode, I think unlike 1, if you hold down R2, it advances time.
Oh.
So instead of you kind of having to go in and out of it, you can even advance time to say, like, okay, I'll go over here, just get a little bit closer, and then go do this thing, you go do that thing, you do okay. And then you can either kind of let go by just hitting the touchpad again, and then everybody does their business, or you just keep advancing time until everything's done. So that, to me, I feel like is one of the strongest points, where if you loved 1, they have something for you. If you loved 2, they also have something for you, and you can kind of ignore either one if you really want to.
That's a really novel solution to that issue.
I thought so too, because what are you listening to?
Nothing.
I'm not doing anything.
Looks like you got caught passing a note in class.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting because I think they admit that it's okay to like either one.
Yeah.
You know, both games have their strengths and their weaknesses, but you know, it's okay to like what you like. And then on top of that, it's huge. Like so it starts off. This game now famously starts off in an area called the Hinterlands.
I've been there in WoW.
Yeah. And this game just starts dumping quests. And you could probably spend a ton of time in there just doing these dumb quests, like, hey, hero, would you like to fight these wolves that are bothering my farm? Tell him no. Tell him no, you've got stuff to do. Even BioWare put on their Twitter account, they're like, hey, leave the Hinterlands. Don't do everything. You can come back later. Just, you got stuff to do, man. Like, don't go crazy there. Which is probably one of the best pieces of advice, because I'm still going back every once in a while to do another mission that I got from somewhere else. So I'll kind of do like another 1 or 2 missions while I'm there. Because it'll take me to another area I haven't been to, and there'll be something over there I need to do. So like you start off in the Hinterlands, and it's this rolling green hills and mountains and everything. The second area you open is a desert with an oasis in the middle that has like this kind of confusing / spooky mine and giant temple in the middle that I haven't fully opened yet, which seems kind of cool. I opened this like coastal stormy area. I opened this diseased undead filled bog that I haven't been into. Like, don't stay in the Hinterlands, everybody. Like, just there's so much cool stuff. What I think for me is most appealing is I really love the Dragon Age lore. And the codex is really great. The codex is outstandingly written. Some of the writing in the game itself has been pretty hit or miss. I just completed the very first major decision you have to make in this game, and since it's a Dragon Age game, really no spoilers. You pick between mages or Templars. I did the mage side, and the writing was a little bit rough, but the codex entries across the board have been outstanding.
That's fantastic to hear.
The game really treats its lore very respectfully, in kind of the way that I wish Destiny did, where it's not going to shy away from not really assuming you know everything, but that if this is your first Dragon Age game, which it totally can be, that either you're reading the codex entries or you've read some Wikipedia stuff to kind of brush up on it.
Yeah.
You don't need to brush up on too much. You can totally hop into Inquisition without playing the first two. Or import your stuff into Dragon Age Keep, and then Inquisition gets a lot more interesting.
That's cool.
But I think the part storyline wise that's interesting for me is it's a very political story. This thing happened in the game and in the world immediately at the very beginning of the game that I won't spoil. And you're gathering power for the Inquisition, which is this group that's trying to fix this issue that you're a part of. And a lot of it so far has been trying to appease different factions, trying to gain enough power to move around the map and do certain things, trying to gain enough influence to get people on your side to bolster your ranks and bolster like your army overall. You're doing these little missions to get your army better outfitted so you can face this other stuff that you're trying to do. It's a really nice change of pace from Dragon Age 1 and 2, where 2 was a very streamlined affair. I like that game, but I will fully admit that it was maybe a little more streamlined than it should have been. 1 was, I think, more of what I was looking for kind of like, well, here's a map, go crazy, go do stuff.
Yeah.
And thankfully no more repeated dungeons from 2. But I like that they kind of leave you to your own devices. When you unlock an area, it just kind of dumps you in there, and it's open. I mean, it's completely open. There's a jump button now, so you can actually jump on things and traverse around a little bit.
That's weird.
It's weird.
It should be, but that's weird.
It's a little weird, but it makes a lot of sense because it's like, okay, look, either I can go 5 minutes around this mountain, or I can just kind of hop up these rocks to get up the cliff face, and then just get up there. Or, new in this game, is get on your horse, which is totally a thing, and then start riding around. That's how large these areas are, is you're often traversing via horse. I am genuinely really surprised at how much I like Inquisition. I liked 1, and I liked 2 a little bit more from a storyline standpoint. I feel like Inquisition took the best parts of both of those and kind of smushed them together, and then just kind of polished that whole package, and then made it about 3 times as big. I'm playing on the PS4. I know some people have had some bugs. I haven't really. I've had some poor performance in cutscenes, but nothing in gameplay, which is weird because that's usually the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
Yeah. But poor performance is like, look, we're dropping a couple frames here and there, but it's a cutscene that's not important at all. Because the important cutscenes are 2 people talking to each other and you're making dialogue choices. You know, that's where the important stuff happens. So I've been playing a ton of this game. Every time I get a chance where I can sort of carve out a little bit of time and sit down and play something, I'm usually playing Inquisition. Because it's so good. And I needed a game like Inquisition, I think. Something where I can sink my teeth into the story and the choices and the politics of it and the lore and read all these cool codex entries, you know, like just the full, you know, like when we picked up Mass Effect 2, where it's just like, all right, there's so much here. Like, to me, that's probably a pretty good analogy, is Mass Effect 1 was really good, and then you go play Mass Effect 2 and you're like, wow, okay, they really polished this thing and they added look at how much more game there is.
Yeah.
That to me is Inquisition, where it's just like, I'm going to read every codex entry, I'm going to do every quest, I'm going to get all my companions, I'm going to do all this cool stuff because it's just so good. Dragon Age
Nice.
Inquisition is awesome. You should go. You should go try that out. And it runs great on PS4.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. And I accidentally fought a dragon already. I couldn't even see its
How do
level.
you accidentally fight a dragon?
I got surprised. It landed. It seemed like it was an event where, it seems like every once in a while a dragon will just show up, almost Skyrim style. It seems like
Of
there
course.
are certain places where they just are, and I had this lightning dragon just kind of land on me and just destroy me.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I liked that. So yeah, I'm hoping to. I'm going into, I think, the second big storyline point, which sounds like it would normally be the ending of the game. Looking at all the trophies, it looks like I probably have about 6 more major things to do.
Wow.
So I'm just, yay! I'm so excited that it's good. I was really hoping it would be good.
I'm really glad to hear that it's good because I've completely avoided Dragon Age 2 just based off. I mean, I know you really liked it, but literally every other person I know that's played it has been like, don't bother.
It's not that bad. Like, I get so frustrated when people. The biggest problem people have with is the repeated dungeons, which, yes, is a real bad problem in that game. It's not that bad. The story is interesting. It's a little too small compared to Dragon Age 1 because you're spending over a period of, I think, 5 years in one town and dealing with that city's politics. But I thought it was so interesting. The DLC is so good and it was fun to play. I get upset when people say that game is not worth the time because it's not a bad game. To me, it's a flawed gem, a lot like Alpha Protocol was.
Fair
It
enough.
has problems, to be sure, and most people won't like it because they like what Dragon Age 1 has to offer better, because it's more like a computer RPG, which I will absolutely respect.
Fair enough.
But it's by no means a bad game. It's as bad of a game as Alpha Protocol is, or like Alan Wake. You know, they're not
okay.
perfect games, but they're pretty good games.
You might be selling me on this.
Yeah, and
I've heard nothing but good things about Inquisition.
Yeah, same here.
I'm surprised when I went to go look at some reviews because someone did like a review wrap up. All of them are solid.
Wow.
The only people that aren't giving it a good review are people that don't like RPGs. And at
Which
that
is
point, like, this is a for real RPG. Like,
Yeah.
I spent probably 2 hours the other day going around and talking to all of my party members in this little city that we're trying to raise, and like moving pieces on this world map so I can have like my party members go out and do missions, kind of like the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, like the assassin missions, where like you can send people out to do like a mission. It'll take them 4 hours, but you have so it's kind of cool. You have 3 choices of people. There's like a political one, a spy one, and then like a warrior army one, and you get different rewards, and you treat the situation differently based on who you send out to go do those things. God, it's just so cool. I just want to go play it right now, but I can't because we have another segment. But yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition is good. Dragon Age 2 is good. Even if you don't like it, it's super cheap now, so you're really not missing that much. And that's all I've been playing. Let's take a break.
Right.
Cool. Be right back.
All right.
Cool, can pee.
I gotta go back and figure out what games I've played this year for my top 10. January 6th, 2014. Alright. A peek behind the show notes here. I don't know what came out this year, though. Video game releases in 2014. Sure, Wikipedia. That'll work. I don't want to donate. Thank you, though. Oh, boy. I don't want events. I want game releases. Oh, man. Don't Starve? Yeah. Yeah, this year is a little rough for a top 10 list. Boss, can you do your favorite small moments in games this year? Yeah, I was actually trying to think of... Oh, excuse me, my voice is going out. Trying to think if there's anything interesting that we could do to add kind of more meat to that episode. What else came out? Definitive Edition, although I don't think that really counts. Trying to figure out what else I played. Bravely Default. I don't think that counts either. I haven't played enough of that. For me, I think Isaac Rebirth probably would. Because I never played the original. And it's such a different game.
And I'm back.
I would say if I had played the original Binding of Isaac, I don't think I would count Rebirth, but I gotta talk myself into it because it's pretty different. Working on my top 10 list of what I've actually played this year.
Yeah, I gotta finish that up soon.
Did AC4 come out this year?
No. Came out last year.
Curses. Freedom Cry did.
Okay.
But not the proper game.
I did not play that.
I didn't either. I really wanted to, but... Oh boy. Castlevania Words of Shadow 2. I'll cross that out almost immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw his new blog post about the expansion for Rebirth, and he said he's adding another mode that completely changes how the game plays too, and I want it already. I just want it right now.
That's pretty crazy.
Oh man.
Okay.
Dead Nation. Oh, South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Yeah. So I have to be somewhere at 6:30. I know we only got a couple of news stories here, but if we can keep it to like 6 o'clock on my end, that'd be...
How much time does that give us?
That's about 35 minutes.
Okay. We only have one email anyway.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that should
we
be
have
fine.
two, but I'll save that one for next week because it is it's pretty long. The other one is a lightning round, so we'll just do that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I don't think we have any tweets either. Let's look. We do, but I'll save those for next week too.
Okay.
Alright, 2014. Alright, South Park Stick of Truth. That gets on there. Oh, Hearthstone came out this year.
Yeah, that I forgot about that too until I checked. I was like, yeah, that's got to be on the list somewhere. I haven't played it much recently, but man, that game's great.
Well, I can say for sure that South Park is going to be in my top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know where. Wow,
gonna be
MGS 5 came out this year too.
What did?
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my list together. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just trying to capture everything I've played, but man.
Yeah.
Infamous Second Son, there's another one.
Yeah, that came out real early this year.
Jeez. I'm only into... I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games on my things I've played list, and I'm in March.
Wow.
Wow, Reaper of Souls came out this year.
Yes,
Come
it
on.
did. Yeah. That might make it on my list twice.
So
Lick was
many
on
good
it last year,
games.
so...
Blizzard giveth this year.
Yeah.
Still no date on Heart of Swarm or Legacy of the Void.
Hell no.
Nope.
Don't be talking crazy.
Right?
I just want to play it.
Oh man. All right. Before I get into that rabbit hole too much, Whoop, no, that's just Jeff Gersman's face. All right. I'm watching the semi-solo pre-Thanksgiving stream.
Oh, okay, nice.
All right, I am ready. Knobs, before he got back, the Hannah said he needs to go in around a half an hour or so. We should be able to bang out the rest of this pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we should be good.
Cool. All right.
That's not weird at all.
Nope. Just breathe it out, man.
This. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases this week of December 1st. Can you believe that?
We're almost at our top 10 episode. Yay!
Of 2014. The Crew comes out for the PS4, XBO, and PC.
I really want that to be good. I really think that could be super cool. But after Unity, I'm gonna wait.
Everything
Yeah.
I've heard about it is, yeah, that's an Ubisoft game.
For good or for bad.
Yeah.
That's a double-edged sword if I've ever heard one.
It really is.
Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 remix for the PS3.
So excited. I love Kingdom Hearts 2.
Couldn't care less.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. I won't play
1/3
this.
TVGP is excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Kingdom Hearts is so good.
Game of Thrones, a Telltale series, episode 1 for the PS4.
Super pumped
They
about
got
that.
it out before the end of the year. If I cared about Game of Thrones at all, I would be super pumped about this.
I'm super excited. I'm super scared.
You're not a
It's
Game of
super
Thrones
fun.
fan?
No, I'm good.
That doesn't fit.
2/3
You
TVGP.
can't be that fickle with fantasy.
I know.
Come on.
I need more Inquisitions.
You need something. Everyone needs Inquisitions.
I've
But-
been meaning to go back to Game of Thrones. My wife really does not like it. So I've been meaning to go back and start watching it again. But
Oh, why?
why?
Does
What?
she have like a specific reason why?
I just
A
it doesn't
specific reason.
doesn't click with her.
Fair
No.
enough.
All right. What the hell?
I could be fickle
right.
about what I want to be.
No, I'm laughing at myself saying Pacific reasons.
Well, you know, I do live near the Pacific Ocean.
Yes, specifics. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Wii U.
Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I'm not trying to be cute. One of my most anticipated games of this year, after playing Mario 3D World, 3D
Yeah.
Land.
I kind of wish I had a Wii U.
Yeah, this game is gonna be awesome. Oh man. Alright, before I get more excited about dumb games nobody else wants to play, let's move on to news stories.
Yay!
Dark Souls 2 to get a re-release on PS4, Xbox One, and DirectX 11. When the Scholar of the First Sin DLC comes out on April 9th, which, by the way, they have the coolest sounding DLC names. Man.
Yeah, I do.
It sounds like at the same time this pack will be coming out, and it includes all of that DLC. So the DLC will be coming out for the older platforms, and then I'm really interested to see how the performance is on PS4 for this one. I didn't play Dark Souls 2 for no real good reason. I would kind of like to play it on the PS4.
That'd be kind of
Maybe
nice.
stream it so people can watch my suffering.
Yeah.
The other Jay-Z in chat says, I really want to care about more Dark Souls, but Bloodborne's out like 3 weeks later or something, which is really weird.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of From Software to play all at once.
From Software is solid.
Yeah, they're pumping out a lot of games, a lot of
Yep,
really
yep.
good stuff. But that's all we have for news stories. We're going to play by the pup rule. We have 95% of the episode in the first segment and 5% of here. So we
Yeah.
only have... the Hannah needs to jet off here real quick. So we
We
only
get
have,
you the goods up front.
Yeah, you know,
Yep.
we're not going to... Who cares about what we think about questions and, like, food?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who wants to know
That's what I
that?
gotta go do. I gotta go eat.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
gotta go eat.
turducken waiting for me.
We gotta...
You have a turducken waiting for you?
Oh, yeah.
How have we not talked about this yet?
Yeah.
Who's making the turducken?
Good friend of mine.
Okay.
A good friend of
they're
mine,
having us-
John Madden.
That's no, that's the six-legged turkey.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I mean that's a. I don't know if I would have the sack to pull off a turducken. There's
Yeah.
a lot of avian foods
a lot
that
of
could
fowl.
go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of foul that can go foul.
hey, we're all weak.
No, I quit. I have to after that.
All right, let's. We only have time for one lightning round email here coming to us from Dave, aka RoboPig. It says, "Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Been a while since I sent in a lightning round, so here goes. Feel free to call an audible if you prefer something outside my options. No, we only get your options. That's lightning round. I appreciate the offer, though.
Yeah.
Better controller, Xbox One or PS4? PS4.
PS4.
I don't know. I kind of like the Xbox One.
That's fair. There's no wrong answers here unless you're wrong.
No.
Sci-Fi 1971, Clockwork Orange, Escape from Planet of the Apes, or The Omega Man. I've seen none of those.
Oh, the Omega Man. By far the best one.
I've never seen the Omega.
I like Kubrick, but Omega Man's a good flick.
Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't. I like that movie, but not as much as a lot of people think I should. I would have to go with. I'll have to go with Clockwork Orange then.
Arcade game, Donkey Kong or Pac-Man?
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. I don't know.
It's unanimous.
It's so hard because Pac-Man. Everybody knows how to play Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Like you can play that game for the first time, and you're just playing Pac-Man. There's like two things you do in the game. Donkey Kong is pretty great though, but it's a little bit more.
Well, that game isn't user friendly.
You gotta
Pac-Man
jump.
is.
Yeah.
Jumpman gotta jump.
Yeah, I'll go for Pac-Man. Pac-Man's a solid game. Can't go wrong.
Yep.
John Candy, Uncle Buck, or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Oh, Planes, Trains, and
Planes, Trains,
Automobiles.
Yeah,
Automobiles.
duh. That's come on, don't be talking crazy. There's no other John Candy movie. Man.
No, The Great Outdoors. That
one's
would be
good.
the tough one. The Great Outdoors, Summer Rental, or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I will not have you choose. I'll spare you that choice.
That's your quintessential candy pack right there.
Candy packet. Current gaming: Shadow of Mordor or Far Cry 4? Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor is really good.
Yeah,
I haven't played Far Cry 4 yet, but
I haven't either, but from what everyone's saying, it's like Far Cry 3.5, which is good. Nothing wrong with that, but man, Shadow of Mordor.
yeah.
Which fictional game do you want to play from Wreck-It Ralph? Sugar Rush or Hero's Duty? Sugar Rush.
Sugar
Yeah,
Rush.
Sugar Rush.
Yeah.
Sugar Rush Kart Racer always
I
wins.
love a good arcade kart racer.
I'm amazed no one's made that yet.
I wonder if Disney did, because they made some other ones.
No, Disney did that. It's probably terrible.
Yeah, it's true. No, the Wreck-It Ralph game was good. Cyberpunk author William Gibson or Neil Stephenson?
Gibson.
Oh man, I don't know.
Absolutely Gibson.
What did
Neuromancer
Neil-
and pattern recognition, man.
Yeah, I'll have to go with Gibson then.
Neil's is Snow Crash.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Gibson probably. I don't know.
I have to give it up to Gibson, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to go with the other one just to be controversial.
There you go. Worst gaming trait of the worst trait of the gaming community: console wars or sense of entitlement? Entitlement. Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Console wars I can deal with, but man, sense of entitlement,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah.
Here's someone's microwave.
Yes.
Beep.
There's things
beep,
cooking.
Beep. There's a turducken cooking knob. Didn't you listen?
Oh God.
How do you
Somebody
cook a
wake her
turducken?
up! Get it out of the oven!
Did all three of us answer for that one?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we all agree entitlement sucks.
Okay. Console wars I can
Entitlement
understand. Like, I can understand I can only afford one of these three things, so my one is the best one. I totally
Yes.
get it. That usually doesn't get that nasty.
No.
That entitlement one, though, man,
Yeah, that's unnecessary.
this stuff's rough. Best Monty Python and the Holy Grail scene to wrap us up here. Witch Debate or Black Knight? Witch Debate.
Which debate?
Oh, but nice to say nay.
Well, that's not an option. Otherwise,
He's calling an audible.
otherwise,
He's calling
yeah.
an audible.
No audibles. But I respect your opinion.
Indeed.
I guess the Black Knight. Even though the Holy Grenade might be the best scene in that movie.
Or the
Yeah.
rabbit.
The rabbit's.
That's a
The
pretty
rabbit's
good-
probably my
That's a
favorite.
pretty good movie. I don't know if people know that.
It was a good one.
Yeah. I just watched Blazing Saddles again this morning. I was like, man, that movie's... I forgot how good that movie is.
Movie's
Let's bring
so
us a
good.
shrubbery.
All right, thank you very
Hold it.
much for writing in lightning round questions. I always have fun with those.
Yeah.
But some of us have to scoot and eat some fowl. So,
Trips on the foul.
yeah.
Trips foul.
You can visit us at tvgp.tv. Everything else is on the right-hand side of the page.
Join the forums. Don't forget to mark yourselves on the map. I don't know why I clapped. Join us for Monday Night Game Night, 10 p.m. EST. That is Battlefield 4 and the Xbox One. And bookending the week on Fridays as well. That's more of a free-for-all potpourri.
Friday Night Fights.
Yeah, Friday Night Fights. Gunfights.
Yeah.
Whatever. Then Steam Game Night's still on Thursday nights. And Wednesday is the PS4 Game Night.
Yes. Current TVGP Game Club game is Deus Ex Human Revolution. You can play the original or you can play Director's Cut. Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice.
And don't forget, you can watch this show live, twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you all next week.
Laters.
Peace.
All right, titles.
I got some.
I have
titles. Oh,
I was holding bricks.
I think I got that one.
I don't remember what that was about.
I was Settlers of Catan.
Oh, I was holding bricks.
I was. Was it holding or hoarding bricks?
I was hoarding
wrote down-
bricks.
Oh, I thought
I
it was I
wrote
was
down-
holding bricks.
Hoarding bricks was one of the ones I wrote down here.
That one's
All
better.
right. So let me go through my titles, and then Jay-Z sent me a bunch of titles as well. Overshot My Destination, A Mountain and a Valley and a Glacier, Fuselage, Physical Board Games, Always Rolling Fat in Cash, Doubling Up Your Money, Really Bad or Really Poorly, Sheep Baron, Hoarding Bricks, oh
like
right,
Sheep Baron.
Lasers, Looking for Iceman, Borderlands All Over Again, I Will Destroy This Disc, That's Still That Game, Australian Lady on the Moon, Borderlands Paint by Numbers, Running Through Soup, The Worst Sort of Person, I Don't Hate This Game Yet, He Looks Mean, I Can't Do This Again, Dumping Quest, Accidentally Fought a Dragon. Hold on, let's get on to page 2 here.
Page 2.
Page 2. I Need More Inquisitions, Quintessential Candy Pack, Trips Foul, I Don't Know Why I Clapped, and Free for All Potpourri.
The quintessential candy pack is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
I wrote
solid.
down Sheep Baron.
Sheep
Sheep
Baron-
Baron's
I
real
love Sheep
solid.
I like that one.
Sheep Baron was because that was the theme through the entire night because the dude set up right in the middle of all the sheeps or all
Yeah.
the fields so he could hoard sheep, and it totally backfired.
That's awesome. All right, and, the other Jay-Z sends over Battlefield Jettison, Jesus Take the Wheel, 600,000 in taxes, Talking People in Dumb Moves, Day Trader, the Calendar Salesman Simulator, the Sheep Baron Brick Hoarder Connection, Latverian Idiot, don't actually read this one, okay, I won't read that one, Viscous Murder Goo, Really Deep Fan Service, the Wargarble Collection, Halo, If I'm in a Party It's Gonna Get Weird, Doctor Doom's Write-Offs, Unfortunately You Have Lives, Infinite Pinball Loop, I Was Interested Until I Got to Detroit, Deus Ex Cardboard Revolution, Do As the Detroiters Do, Bars That Need Filling, a comfortable pair of light pants, Dog Knives, An easy 50-step walkthrough. I can't do this anymore. All these midgets running through soup. Games of significant length. The worst sort of person. The meanest seamster. The benefits of a persona.
What's the meanest seamster? Where did that come
I
up?
don't know.
It's Persona Q, I think.
Pokegod. Everybody does their business. Nobody expects the Templar Inquisition. Dark Souls Inquisition. Fickle Fantasy 7. Going into Pacifics. Turducken Sack. Quintessential Candy Pack.
I still really like Sheep Baron.
I'm a big fan of Sheep Baron.
It sounds like a Mega Man boss.
Sheep Baron.
Oh, God.
All right, I'm going to pick that one.
Yeah, Sheep Baron is the winner.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 371 for December 1st, 2014. Sheep Baron.
Make me a sweater.
I control the wool.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching us. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.